there is a purpose why one practices religion or spirituality. It is to exalt the citizens so that their minds can get to a level where we can create civilizations on our own. For instance, when we were in the past, when we were living purposefully, we created civilizations, we created empires. At that time, we were living African traditions. But ever since we got interrupted and something else was introduced to us, you realize that we suddenly became the villagers of the world. It's as if currently we are now being referred to as the third class world.
You are watching the biggest, the largest, the highest, the greatest, the tallest, and the mightiest African spiritual platform. I'm always Queen. Hadasha call me Empress. Makida, I am Labraska, the Sun Goddess, call me the Spear of Destiny. I am the true bloodline. I welcome you people to the biggest, the greatest, the largest. I am always the greatest G. I welcome you guys. It's another episode. Today we are going to discuss the Bible and then the African traditions, the difference in it, the Bible, and all that. We will keep delving into it till we get to the bottom of it. In fact, the bottom be one part. So let's welcome our guest for today and see what happened. Papa, we welcome you to Revelations.
Thank you, Maame.
Great. Today is your first time on this biggest platform. Please kindly pay obeisance to my followers and subscribers. Introduce yourself to us, what you are, and what you are coming to talk to us about. If there are any loved ones you want to send message to or send love to, is also allowed. I'm
privileged to be here today to share my thoughts and thinking with all of you, so that we can all learn and exchange ideas. My name is Mawuli Quarshigah, but popularly known as Shaggy Quarshigah. And I'm here today as an African spiritualist, an African spiritual researcher, and someone who investigates the Bible and then our colonial systems.
Okay, we welcome you to Revelations once again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so you are an what? You said you are...
I am an African spiritualist.
Who is an African spiritualist?
An African spiritualist is someone who is deeply rooted into the traditions of his own ancestors.
Who is an ancestor?
An ancestor is someone... Okay, when we can look at it from a lot of perspective. Usually what we refer to as an ancestor is anything that comes before us. It includes trees, it includes rocks, rivers, and other humans. So all those are a pool of ancestors. Now when we want to localize it, then it comes to human beings or the village. So when it comes to human beings, an ancestor is the bloodline from which I came. So my predecessors, those who came before me, those through which I was born, and I came to this plane of existence.
So what are their traditions?
Okay, well, I am from the Anglo. I'm an Ewe, and I'm from the Anglo traditions. And when it comes to the Anglo or the people of the Ewe, our traditions are Vodou and Efa.
So that is what you are practicing?
Yes, I'm initiated into the Efa system.
Oh, okay. So you are an Anglo?
Yes.
And you were a researcher?
Yes.
Tell us about Togui Agokoli and then the Togo issue. So they migrated to the Volta region here. Can you give us that history?
Well, I can give you just a brief history.
Okay.
You know, the Anglo people, as it stands now, history is showing that we migrated from, we were not here before. We migrated in the past, Some researches show that we migrated from ancient Egypt through and came down to Nigeria, then from Nigeria to Benin, Togo, and Ghana. So I think the Agokoli thing started from Togo. We were under the rulership of Togbi Agokoli as one unit, but I think but there were different clans, and then at that point in time, Agokoli was not treating us well, and then we need to find a way out, and then certain things happen. I don't want to go to that how we migrated from there.
Why? Any
okay.
reason?
Well, okay, if you like.
Because that thing happened in Noche.
Yes, it happens in Noche.
Yeah,
I was at Noche. I saw the place that we were staying. So the history behind it was that when we were there, Agokoli was not treating us well at all. So our ancestors found a way of escaping. So there were we had a wall, a very thick wall. When you go to Noche, there's a very thick clay wall. I mean, wide. It's as wide as it could be, as wide as my how do you call it? My arms. And the story behind it was that anytime we washed, or some others say that we used the menstrual blood of our women to be pouring on the clay, and then it was softening it. It was softening it, and at a point in time, we were able to break through, and then we escaped from there.
That's what you know.
Yes.
But you don't know that it was said that one tribe of you killed Togbi Agokoli's child and labeled a murder case against the child, and they killed him, and they punished that they should build the wall with their belly, or you don't know, or you don't want to talk about it?
No, there's so many stories. What you are saying, I've heard that also. But I personally don't have a way of verifying which is true. So I don't talk about things that I don't know. But the story I've heard is what I'm saying, that we were under the rulership of Agokoli at a point in time. Things didn't go well, and we had to escape.
But you don't know what didn't go well.
Like you are
saying. You said you've been in Noche. You didn't get the whole story from Noche.
Well, when I went to Noche, we were not told this. We were not told this as part of the history that one of our ancestors killed Agokoli's son, and that is the reason why things went bad between us. We were not taught that.
So, according to what you know, it is the Anglo people that poured the water on the wall and do that enchantment and pass through the wall and run away. Yes. It's the Anglo people.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you are runaway people.
We freed ourselves
from
the rulership of Agokoli, so that we can be on our
own. Okay. You are watching the biggest Ebusia. The quest of Akabulan went to Noche. It's on our platform. You can actually Google and then watch. You get the full story from there. That was what brought a big confusion, that Komfo Noche is from Noche, and it became a whole lot of it. This story is there. We've been there to capture the whole place, so you can Google it on the platform and actually watch it. So what are the responsibilities of African traditional spiritualists?
Well, basically our responsibility is to live in harmony with nature. That is our responsibility.
That is what makes you spiritualist?
Yes.
So everybody that is living in harmony with nature is African spiritualist? Is that what you are saying? Well,
I would say that anyone who is living in harmony with nature is a spiritualist, I would say.
How do you people cut the afa?
How do we cut the afa?
What are the processes?
What are the processes?
Yes.
Oh, well, when you visit, afa is an oracle that speaks to Ewe people. Afa is the word of God, you know. So when you have an issue and then you want to consult Afa, you go to the Afa, you speak on, we call it akwe. That is, I would just say that's money. You speak on it, and then the diviner is not supposed to hear whatever you are speaking on it. So you just pick whatever your problems are, and then you put it down, and the diviner chants and invoke prayers, and then it takes the gumaga. It's like a lot. It's made up of 4.
It's the thread. You just say the thread, so we get it straight.
Okay. It's the thread. So the diviner takes it and then chants on it and pray on it, and then drop it in such a way that there is no manipulation from the diviner. And when that is done, it is believed, not that it's even believed, you know, with the understanding of who we are as human beings, we know that there is a life force within us. We are not just the physical body, or we are not just made of atoms. There is a life force that is holding our atoms together for us to appear like this as a human being. So whenever the diviner throws the thread or the gumaga down, it's your life force within you, the part of your being that you don't see, acts on it in such a manner that it turns in a way that it can communicate whatever your problem is to the diviner. So whenever the diviner throws the gumaga or the afa down, a code comes out. We call it code, or we call it bonli in Ewe. We call it bonli in Ewe. So it's a code. When it drops down, we have about 256 codes. So whenever you toss it, one of the codes come, and it is the code that communicates what your problem is to the diviner. So the first system is not based on the oracular power of the praise, but the symbols. It is the Father communicates. Whenever it's dropped, it speaks to the diviner, and the diviner is able to interpret what your problem is and the solutions.
Should we believe in all the diviners of Ifa? Should we believe in them?
I will say we can believe in all communications from afar. But, you know, the communication is as if the far gives its message. The far never lies. But the interpretation of the message depends on the skill of the priest. So that is why
I'm asking, should we believe all the priests that are omoka? No. Should we believe in all of them? They don't have fake ones in it.
Oh, no. If that is the situation, of course there are fake things in everything. Almost everything. Anything that has the original has the fake too. So there are people who are not truly masters of the system, but they are fake, or they want to take advantage of people who don't know. So those ones are also there. So usually what we advise is that before you get to contact any diviner, you must get a recommendation from someone who has been there. You must know the person must have a reputation, a recommendation, then you can go to the person.
Does the fact talks or speaks audibly?
No.
It doesn't?
No.
So how do you know it never lies?
Because I've experienced it.
You said some of the priests are fake, right? And the Ifa itself, it doesn't speak audibly. It's the diviner that would translate or tell you whatever the thread is saying. Am I correct?
Yes.
And so how
once
do you
know? Once you go speak to your akwe and the thread is tossed, a code will be derived.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now that you are saying it doesn't lie, and the thing itself doesn't speak audibly, and you have also admitted that we have fake priests among them. How do you know that Ifa never lies?
Yes. So
you use never.
For instance, once the code comes out, you can take your code. When I get a code from you, let's say I'm a diviner, you come to me, and then I get a code for you, and I told you something about the code. If the problem you brought is what I told you, then you know. But if not, you can take that same code and show it to another diviner, and that diviner can tell you about it. Do you understand what I mean?
I'm trying to.
the far communicates with symbols.
I understand that.
Now, once that symbol has appeared, okay, now we have to interpret the symbol. Maybe another interpreter is better at doing that. So I saw the symbol, I interpret what I know about the symbol to you. Okay, if you are not satisfied, you can take it to another diviner, and that diviner would also tell you more about the code. So usually, under normal circumstances, it's not even one diviner that's supposed to work for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it? Can we call it a religion? How often do you have to do Ifa? Is it one time, once in lifetime?
Oh well, the Ifa is divided. Consulting Ifa is in sections. Okay, there is initiation into the Ifa, and there is just consultation. Initiation is just a once time thing. That is where you go for initiation. Usually you're supposed to do initiation for 21 days. But currently, because things have changed, we can do the essential for you within 3 days.
That is when they lock you in the room alone and
Yeah,
is that not it?
yes, that for that aspect of it is only once, because that is where you go to discover yourself, your destiny. The rules.
Is it like soul travel or something?
No, it's not soul travel. It's not soul
How
travel.
do you go and discover yourself in your future?
Well, during the ceremony, rituals are done. Those are, I can't go into the details because
Why?
it is an initiatory knowledge.
So you don't have to
You can't disclose everything.
You can't
but
disclose it. Is it a religion?
Oh yes, aspect of it
religion.
is a religion.
Okay.
There are aspects of it that is a religion.
All right.
So you go through the ceremony for 3 days, and then you yourself, there are ceremonies and things that will be done to you for you to pick your own destiny with your own hands, and then the diviners that are present will interpret everything to you about your own life, how you came to be, what you are here to do, and the rules of your existence, what you should do so that you'll be successful, what you should do so that what you should avoid so that troubles does not come your way.
Okay. Your topic is the Bible and African tradition. First and foremost, explain what the Bible is and what African tradition is before you put the topic together.
Well, the Bible, as it was introduced to us, is the Word of God. That is what we've been taught, or that is how the...
Who told us? Be specific. Who introduced it to us?
The colonial masters, our colonial masters.
Okay.
Yes, they came with a book, and they told us that this book is the Word of God, or things written in the book is supposed to represent the Word of God. Yes, but then you ask, did you ask what is the Word of God, or what's
the Bible? What the Bible is?
Yeah, well, so that's it. The Bible, we were introduced to it as the Word of God.
And what is African tradition?
Well, like I've already said, African tradition are the traditions of your ancestors, the traditions, the rules and regulations your ancestors set down.
What are those rules? Be specific so we are able to understand you.
African traditions is just about living in harmony with nature. So everything that we do is all about living in harmony with nature. If you want specifics, I don't know. Because
you said African traditions, and you are telling me that African traditions is about living in harmony with nature.
Yeah.
If that is the case, it is not African tradition, because the Western world, they live together peaceful with nature than us. And that place is not African. So when you are talking about African traditions, and you put it together that living with nature, peaceful with nature, it doesn't make this thing to me. We don't have African traditions. Living with nature is African traditions to you.
Well, yes. And connecting with your ancestors.
How do you connect with your ancestors?
By knowing who they are, by knowing your ancestors, what they discovered about this world.
What did your ancestors discover, and who were they?
My ancestors something like the Fa. My ancestors discovered it. My ancestors discovered how we should live so that we can progress.
Who are they? You said knowing your ancestors and also knowing what they discovered. So to you, your ancestors discovered Efa and how to live.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes,
so
because the Efa is, to us, the Efa is everything. The Efa knows about the universe. The Efa knows everything that exists. The Efa has the secret of everything that exists. So once you have the Efa, you have everything that
so
can
that is
enable
what they
you.
discovered.
Yes.
Who were they? Because you gave two translations, knowing your ancestors and what they discovered. So we understand what they discovered now. So knowing them, who are they?
I know my ancestors. I know you have to know who. In African tradition, every human being is a reincarnation of someone that existed in the past. So your ancestors walk with you all the time. So for instance, let me tell you this experience I had. Okay, I just once met someone who saw me, someone I've not known before, who saw me and just mentioned the name of my ancestor to me. You know, how did that happen? It's because he was able to go into trance and saw me and saw the people that I am reincarnated of. So that is how to know your ancestors.
Your topic is the Bible and African tradition. Please take us through.
Okay. Well, the Bible and African traditions, before we go there, I would like to give you a brief history of how I came about that. Yes. So I was brought up as a Christian, and at a point in time there were things that I didn't understand. I was searching, and then I came across the Bible for the Catholics. So the Bible, I opened it and I saw certain things in it, certain things that shook me. It's I saw certain truths written in the Bible, and it made me confused. So at that point, I had to go home for certain rituals to be done for me to be able to come back to my senses. Okay.
Were you mad? Did you go mad?
Yes, I was almost going mad because
of what you saw in the Bible?
Yes, because I was...
What did you see there?
Well, I saw in the Bible that the creation story we know, we were taught as kids growing up, we were taught to understand those things as truths, nothing else but truth, because it is the word of God. The word of God is supposed to be truth to us. So we took it as truths and we were living according to what we were taught, only for you to discover in that same book that what the things you were taught to be taken as truth are just poems. So at that point, it's as if the myth I was living with, I got confused, it shook me, and I had nothing else to hold on to again, now that I know that this I was following is not true.
Okay.
Yes.
Continue.
So it was true that I had to go home and get initiated and come back to my own story. Otherwise, I was just...
Which is what?
Which is the story of my own life.
Which is?
Everyone living currently is writing a story of their own life.
So you are in a drama. Is that what you were saying?
Well, a story, I will put it.
And you
have a story, I have a story. Each and every one of us is having a story. That is the reason why you were born in the first place. You were born to fulfill a purpose. So basically, I started from there. I started going more and more into the traditions, and then I started going more and more into the Christian stuffs, and then I got to know what happened to us as Africans for the past 400 years and over. you know, that makes us think the way we do now.
Okay. So the Bible and African tradition, we are listening to you.
So basically, the Bible was written by the colonialists. Most things in it are against African traditions.
African traditions that you said it is living peaceful with nature. That is what you said, it's African traditions. So the Bible is against we living to get peacefully with nature. Is that what you're saying right now?
No. Well, living in peace with nature also requires us to go do certain rituals.
So that's what I was asking you, what African tradition is.
Oh, okay. I didn't get it that way.
Okay.
Yes.
So what?
And the rituals we do is mostly connecting to our ancestors, connecting us to the nature, the forces behind nature. Basically, that's it, to help us to move forward.
So these people came to take us away from it.
Yes. So we cannot. We are no longer living our true purpose. We are no longer living according to how we are supposed to live, so that we can evolve on our own. It's as if our evolution has been interrupted by outside forces, and then we are supposed to live according to what is in the Bible. Our lifestyle must conform to the rules and regulations of the Bible. But then the Bible was also written, gives us a destiny to live, which is almost against the African traditions. Because in African traditions, there is no time where this earth would come to an end. There would be an apocalypse and everything will collapse, and then we would go back to heaven or something. But then inside the Bible, we are told when we die, we will have to be judged, and then we'll go to hell or heaven according to your deeds on earth. But then in African traditions, you realize that for us, we came from the land of our ancestors with a purpose to deliver. Once that purpose is delivered, we go back to the ancestors and debrief them, and if possible, carry on another duty and come back and then perform. So usually I'm just trying to talk about the contradictions in the ways of the Bible and African traditions. It's as if we are no more living according to our purpose. We are living according to a purpose someone has written down for us to follow. And that is what I want us to understand, and then wake up within ourselves to realize that it will be much better for us to be rooted in our own traditions and our own purpose than to hold on to traditions that came from other sources that we are living in that we don't even understand properly.
Okay. You said the tradition is religion. Am I correct?
There are religious aspects of the tradition.
So
then there are knowledges, there are other aspects.
So if I should leave this Bible religion and come to the African tradition religion, what's the difference?
The difference is that the African traditions gives you a purpose.
Which is what?
A purpose that yourself, before we came into existence, we knew what we were coming to do. So it is an individual thing. So if you ask me which is what, I can't tell the purpose of each and everybody. But you would know. Once you have a society, it is better if each and everyone knows his or her purpose in the society, and everything is interplaying at the same time, than just someone from outside coming to give the whole community a purpose to live by. So that is the difference.
Okay, so what do we do now?
What we must do now is to go back to our traditions.
To live in peace with nature. That is what we should go and do.
Of course, it will help us. It will help us. Living in peace with nature helps us. That is how we came here to enjoy the environment. Look at how animals live. The animals that are not humans. You can see that no one is directing them, do this, do that. They know what to do instinctively because they know their purpose. They know why they are here.
So we should behave like them.
Not behave like them, but behave in such a manner that we also know our purpose of
5 things we should do to prove or to show that we know our purpose.
5 things we should do.
Yes.
Or prove that we know our purpose.
Yes.
Well, that's one. Everyone in its culture. For us, like I can only speak for Anglo tradition. It is true initiation that we know our purpose. So one of the things you have to do to know your purpose is get initiated in whichever tradition that you hail from. From there, you will know your purpose. Another thing you can do is through meditation. There are people who just discover their own purpose through meditations.
That is true.
Yeah. Another one is to follow our mystic teachers, African traditional mystic teachers.
Mystic teachers who teach how to live peaceful with nature.
Yeah.
Is that all?
At least the 3 is what I can recall.
All right. So your last words to the public, your advice to the public on what to do, because it's the same religion you are saying we should live here and go and live here, because here there is no purpose. The Bible doesn't have purpose.
The Bible is having a purpose.
But it's not our purpose.
Yes, it is a purpose that if we follow, we can never advance. You see, there is a reason, there is a purpose why one practices religion or spirituality. It is to exalt the citizens so that their minds can get to a level where we can create civilizations on our own. For instance, when we were in the past, when we were living purposefully, we created civilizations, we created empires. You know, one of the greatest civilizations that was created was the ancient Egyptian civilizations, the Zimbabweans. We had empires and we were creating, we were developing. At that time, we were living African traditions. But ever since we got interrupted and something else was introduced to us, you realize that we suddenly became the villagers of the world. It's as if currently we are now being referred to as the third class world, because we are not living according to our purpose. We are living someone else's tradition, and once you are doing that, you would forever be the second version of the tradition that you have adopted. Whilst if you are living your own traditions, you will realize that you would be able to create a civilization of your own. For instance, look at the Chinese. They are living their purpose, they are living their tradition, and you can see how fast developing they are. But when it comes down to us, you realize that we are not living as Africans. It's as if we don't have a true purpose of our own. We're just living according to someone's purpose that he wrote for you, to kind of have a certain type of control over you, like that's it. For instance, now that you see that before, Africans don't worship images of any human being. But currently, as it stands, the God we know is in an image of someone else, a Westerner. So our minds are just, we have become a second-class citizen for the people who we now worship. Assuming you go to China, and in their worship temples, you see images of your grandfather inside there. in their homes, you see images of a black ancestor or your images of your grandfather. You ask, why is that picture there? So that's the God they worship. First, how will you feel? You will feel superior. And those people who are worshiping you will now see you as the image in which they are worshiping, and then they become inferior to you. So by just going according to the God that is introduced to us, we have become inferior to the people whose image we now worship. Whereas if we were not doing that, we would have been going according to our own traditions, and then we would develop from there. But now we are unable to do that because we have, when it comes to images of God, we have someone else in our mind, a human being, which is not the case in African traditions. We don't have an image of God that is a human being. To us, the image of God is an energy, it's a living energy, it's a living entity, not something that is solidified as a human being for us to worship and bow down to. And part of that is the reason why we are unable to develop on our own, because the type of God you worship determines the type of technology you
build or
yes,
create.
you build or
so
create.
So you those worshiping, you those doing the African traditions there, which you happen to be one of their ritualists, spiritualists, what have you created?
Oh, we have created, like I said before, in the past is when we were living our traditions fully. Currently, as it stands now, we are in a state of confusion because 70%...
Including yourself?
No, 70% of statistics is showing that 70% of, let's say, Ghanaians are Christians, 25 are Muslims, and about 5% are traditionalists. So what can those 5% do?
Create.
Yes,
so how many
in a town.
Do you need there to create something?
At least we should be 50. You cannot, you can, in a town that belongs to us, we should be majority before we can move. We at least it should, if it's not full, at least more than 50%.
So if you get 50%, what are you going to create?
We used to have scientific knowledges in our tradition. The tradition is hidden with scientific informations. Okay, we know. Look at the Western world. They are now trying to discover other worlds and stuff. They are scientists, but Africans already, in our traditions, is stated that there are other worlds, and we know
that living in harmony with nature. Nature tells us there are other ways. Is that what we are?
Yes. So if you live in harmony with nature, you can hear nature speak to you.
The trees talking.
Yes, and then you can, yes, because the stones have informations that you can hear. Once you are listening, the stones have informations that they can give you. So once we are back into our own minds, we will realize that we have our own deities communicating to us what we should do. This is how this is done. This is how this is done. That is how knowledge is discovered. Knowledge is discovered through entities that knows, advanced entities that knows are the ones that give us knowledge. So once you are not connected to those entities, you are not going to have the knowledge that is needed for you to build your own civilizations. So if we want to develop, if we want to move faster than we are doing, then it is required for us to step into our traditions, because there are a lot of things in our traditions that we are losing, like healing methods. We used to heal almost every disease. There is no sickness or disease that Africans don't know how to heal. But because we are living someone else's traditions, those things are lost to us. We used to travel out of our body to the stars, to the moon, and get informations and come back without using spaceships.
So we're 50% traveling together. Was it not few?
No, it was few.
So you said you few cannot travel to prove to us that we have to come there.
No, those knowledges are there. That is how come we have knowledges of the star systems that have been mapped.
And
who
all named the stars? Who named the stars? Who named the stars that we have to travel to? Who named them?
It's your ancestors. Everything was done before you came. It's your ancestors. Okay. And we have them named in your languages also, because we have name for stars. We have the name we call the sun. We have the name we call the moon and all the planetary bodies. We have names we call in our languages for everything that we have discovered. It is through living our traditions that we have discovered those things.
Okay, so until 50%, no show.
I don't see how we are going to evolve or develop without us stepping into our own traditions. If there is any, I've not seen any civilization yet that is not practicing its own traditions. There is none. When you go to the Arab world,
I'm not even saying that.
When you go to the Arab world,
I'm not even saying that. You said we get 50% of us. That's what I'm bargaining.
At least more than, because if you go to the Arab world, you cannot go to Arab world and find other traditions more than they are. You will never go to an Arab world and find more Christians than Muslims. You cannot go to any Western country and find more Muslims than Christians. You cannot go to the Asian countries and find other traditions. They are in their population. You find that there are other traditions more. It's not.
It doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Okay.
So for us, if we really want to develop, it will be advisable that we step into our own traditions. We don't throw our traditions away due to just religious colonization and say that, oh, we found something else, so our own things and our own knowledges are no more valuable to us, and then we must throw them away. They belong to the past, and there is nothing there. No, there are a lot of hidden informations in the traditions that we find ourselves in. So we have to investigate. We shouldn't throw it away and be there and just follow. We have to begin to ask ourselves certain questions. We have to go deep into ourselves, look into our traditions and see what are the knowledges that are there that we can draw from in order to compete in this world or in order to move forward. And if we don't do our traditions, we cannot get that information.
We cannot get that information. Is it wedding band you are wearing?
Yes, I'm married.
You are married, so that's a wedding.
Yes.
So you did wedding.
Yes.
At where?
Takrady.
Where? Like where? How? Wedding. I popping.
It's not popping per se. Personally, I did traditional marriage, and then I went out to celebrate it.
So you didn't go to court to sign anything?
No.
And you are wearing a wedding band, you are deceiving yourself?
I'm not deceiving, it's because my partner demands that, and then I don't see anything.
Oh, I'm not saying I see anything wrong with it. I just want to know if you did wedding, because it's also part of the Bible. That's what I'm asking. The band you are wearing is also part of the Bible. You don't know?
Wedding.
The ring you are wearing.
Okay.
Is it part of your tradition?
No, it's not part of my tradition.
So where did you get it from? Is it not from the Bible?
Okay. No, it's from Western culture.
Where is the Bible coming from?
Okay, we can say.
Okay, let's leave this.
You know that.
It's okay. You any social media handle?
Oh, Shaggy, Quarshigah, Facebook.
Facebook.
Yes.
Okay, so that says social media handles. Shaggy, thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for watching Your Biggest and Your Largest. I am not bisa questions because we keep fighting the Bible, but we keep practicing what the Bible brought to us. Does this make sense?
But
you are not saying traditional spiritualists.
We are not saying that throw the Bible away.
What do we do with it?
The Bible is a collection of many books, Of course, there are things in it that are useful to us.
So why didn't you use that one to stabilize yourself when you were going mad, but you went to your traditional this thing for them to initiate you?
They have different functions. The Bible have different functions than our traditions.
No wahala. Quarshigah, Shaggy. You call yourself Shaggy.
Yes.
Is Shaggy part of your ancestral name?
Oh, no.
Oh, it's okay.
But,
don't worry.
But what? We are not saying that we should cut ourselves away from the
I'm not
external
saying that.
world.
Shouldn't I ask you questions?
Oh, when you ask me questions, then I should answer. I should
no,
answer.
Because African spiritualists, now you're from Shaggy. Why? That's what I'm asking.
Shaggy is just a nickname. When I came,
you
I
didn't
said...
get, you didn't get Togbi Yawo. You didn't get any Alilivio. You didn't get Joker. You didn't get any of this for a nickname by Shaggy.
When I came, when I came, I introduced myself as Mawuli, Quarshigah.
Bye-bye.
That is a name of an ancestor.
That's okay. Because you are talking about and you are talking about cosmology. You should understand that sounds and vibration is part of you. So calling yourself Shaggy, the frequency and the vibration that comes with it. It's okay. I
have many names.
We are not. You have many names.
Yes. I don't think you have only one name.
Me, I have many names, but the one my father gave me is what I will use. If your father did that.
My father gave me Mawuli Quarshigah. That's what I introduced. Oh, Shaggy was because when I was a child, I performed Shaggy's song, and people started calling me Shaggy. And
you love Shaggy.
Mawuli Quarshigah is my name.
Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you, brother. We keep learning, we keep delving into African spirituality and anything that has anything to do with us. We focus on liberation of the continent. Shalom. Peace.